Jesus, am I inconsistent or what? I promised 4 months ago I would upload again. That hasn't happened at all. If I'm being fully honest, I'm probably the most inconsistent whatever on the, platform. Either that or I've got the most shittiest upload schedule. I've had 2-year break. I came back for about a month. I had stopped uploading for another 9. Damn, am I inconsistent or what? But you guys are not here for me to complain. This is What If Deku was in, you see as the title, Across the Spider-Verse. The first 2 parts of this series are linked in the description down below, if you guys would actually like to see the rest of them, or you could click the top right of your screen to see the eye. The first 2 parts are needed to watch it, or you can watch the movie and just add Deku in as a character. Trust me, this gets good as it goes along. The ship has already been sailed, as hope you all enjoy this video. Also, it roasts me in the comments for my inconsistent ass. 1 year and 4 months has passed since, everything has began. Izuku went back to Japan only to defeat All For One and Shigaraki. Since then, Izuku's been chilling around anywhere he can. Anyone who needs saving, or anyone at all, he would be there and try his best to save them, along with Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Woman. Izuku mainly spent all his time in America. Since teleportation technology recently got invented, Izuku has been mainly staying in America since his 2nd year of high school. Izuku has been mainly ignoring that and just been doing hero work in the US, mainly since All Might retired. Izuku's the only one to catch up on that stuff and keep him in the groove. As Izuku and Gwen were just defeated Dr. Octavius for the 2nd time that year. So Gwen, you alright? Izuku said. Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Well, since we got back from Earth, that world, you seem a little bit down. Me seem a little bit down? Don't make me laugh, she said, trying to fake laugh her way out of it. Gwen, I know when you're upset, so what's wrong? Izuku said. Well, it's just that I left Miles all alone in that universe, and I just wanted to make sure if it was okay, that's all, she said. Don't worry, in about a couple of years' time, I guarantee Meihatsumi or any form of scientist would have already figured out a way to do that, Izuku said. Yeah, but we can't leave onto hope like that. If we do leave onto hope, then what does that mean for the rest of us, she said. As the police radio went off in her jacket, as Izuku and her both left off swinging, until they arrived at a form of museum. As Izuku and Spider-Woman decided to swing into action as before, Spider-Woman decided to, web up her own father to make sure he didn't intervene. As the moment they arrived in, Izuku saw the mess, as the man was covered in brittle, wood and metal. What the? Izuku said. Is that Izuku said. Yeah, that's what we think it is. That's a guy from another universe, Izuku said, as Izuku and Gwen both swung in, as Izuku held him down, as Gwen incapacitated him, until help arrived to try and figure out what was happening. As Spider-Man 2099 finally arrived to see what the carnage would came to. But the carnage would came to not because Izuku, remember, he's not a Spider-Man, he's a one-for-all user. So in turn, his strength is on par with Prime All Might. So in turn, he's stronger than any Spider-Man. But you guys are gonna comment something, tell me I'm wrong. I probably am. As Spider-Man 2999 arrived, I just said that wrong, as he would explain everything that he's from another world, but Izuku would just toss the other universe guy to, Miguel's feet. This happens to be yours, am I not wrong? He said. Wait, 2 Spider-Men? Miguel said. Oh, I'm not a Spider-Man. My name's just Deku. I just really like the costume, Izuku said. Oh, cool, he said, as Miguel grabbed on to, well, the villain, as you would call it, and tossed him in. Wait, Miguel, Izuku said. Are you able to take us anywhere? Why? He said. We need you to take hands in the air, a police said, as he would walk over to Gwen and try to arrest her, as everything from canon would take place, and from the movie. Gwen would reveal her face, as, well, Miguel and Gwen both went through the portal. As for Izuku, he went as well. Only for a couple of days minimum, because he wanted to get some stuff done, and try his best to, well, see how the other spider people act, to try his best to be a better hero than what he was, as well to get notes on the other spider people. Of course, they're heroes. Who else would want to do that? In Izuku's mind, he thinks everyone is worth noting about, as everything upwards to that point would happen like normal, but quite a lot of them, a lot more, would be captured. As we're going to fast forward a little bit to when Izuku finally meets up with Miles Morales again. Hey, you got a minute, little one? Izuku said as he hopped through the gate. Izuku? Gwen? Miles said as he charged at both of them, hugging him tighter and tighter each go. Wow, look at you, you've grown, Izuku said, as Miles just looked at him up and down. So have you, and where the hell did you get that scar from? Miles said. Oh, you mean that one? Oh, that was just from All For One. He's defeated now, but it's decent. I'm okay. So how's your quirk? He said. Yes, it's called quirk. It's perfectly fine. And also, what about you? You seem like you've grown quite a bit. You had a growth spurt? Ha, 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 Izuku said, nudging at Miles' stomach. Yeah, but, well, oh. It seems like your room has a action figure here too. Gwen, don't, Izuku said, as the package opened, as Izuku and Miles both cringed at the sight of Gwen opening a limited edition figure. As Gwen looked back. What? What did I do wrong? She said. Oh, I don't even want to say it, Izuku said. Oh, say it, she said. You just opened a limited edition figure that's meant to be... Izuku said, as he grined and moaned at the sight of a limited edition figure going to waste in value. Sorry, Miles, Gwen said, apologetically. Nah, it's okay. I'll probably get another one sooner or later, he said, as Izuku, Miles, and Gwen both had their same chat as normal. But, hey Miles, can you still thread the needle? I'm grounded, he said. Ah, bummer. What about this? Can, Spider-Man come out? Gwen said, as Miles just started giggling, as Izuku and Gwen both went outside and swung to their heart's content, threading the needle and other things like that. Miles, look, 10 o'clock, villain, he said, as Miles went down, hung him up by his neck, and not neck, feet, and watched as the rest of the authorities arrived to pick the man up. As Izuku and Gwen both carried on for the rest of their day, swinging and stopping villains. So, anything new, Miles? He said. Not really. There was a villain who could control animals, other things, but I stopped them. But there was one guy difference, though. There was a man who could control portals, as Izuku and Gwen's ears both perked up. Did you know what he looked like? Yeah, white skin, black spots, kind of like a Labrador or a Dalmatian, he said. Oh, cool, Izuku said, as Izuku, Gwen, and Miles both continued everything from the movie storyline, all the way until Izuku, Miles, and Gwen were both at the house party, where Miles explained to his parents where he's been, and he acted a slightly bit rude, as Izuku and Miles both continued the party until both of Miles' parents arrived to sort of jazz it up, as you would say. So, who are these two, Miles? Well, Miles' mom said, well, this is Izuku and this is Gwen. Izuku's visiting from Japan and Gwen's come back for around about 3 more months until she has to go back. Miles said, back where? Oh, back to Canada, Miles said in a nervous tone. Konnichiwa, Zina-simasu. I've butchered that and I'm good someone's going to call me racist for that, I can already guarantee it. Just pretend Izuku is speaking Japanese here. It's very nice to meet you, ma'am, Izuku said. Konnichiwa, Miles' dad said, only knowing that word from, well, other shows, of course, and other people saying it. Miles, is he able to speak English? Yes, I can speak English, Izuku said, speaking it fluently, as Miles' mom jumped a foot in that turn of events, as Gwen just laughed and giggled underneath her tone, as Miles' dad just laughed along with it, of course, as Izuku and Gwen's watch both went off at the same time. Shit, Izuku said internally. I have to go. My parents are going to be strict with me missing finals, Izuku said, as he jumped off, as he ran down the quote-unquote flight of stairs. Well, we all know he jumped straight out the window, but the humans don't know that. As Izuku and Gwen both arrived, but they were too late. Shit, Izuku said. Miguel's gonna be pissed, Izuku said, as they scanned the area for instant replay. As everything replayed, Izuku saw everything that would have occurred or had occurred at that time. We could have easily avoided this, Izuku said. Don't you think I know that? Miles are gonna be so fucking heartbroken if he realizes why we are actually here. I know, Izuku said. But we can't let him know. If once he knows that the spot from this universe is, well, trying to find a way to become, well, omnipresent or universal for that matter, then he'll want to get involved. That's what every Miles does. They get involved in anything they can. That's what a true hero does. Every Miles that got bitten by the radioactive spider always ended up becoming a true hero in their own light and their own passion. Oh, hi, Spider-Woman, Izuku said, raising an awkward hand. Where is he, Izuku? Where's who? Spot, she said. Who's Spot? Izuku, you're pulling at my last nerve. Come back to HQ immediately, or go and find Spot and detain him. Now, she said with venom in her tone. As Izuku looked back, Miles, don't follow us, Izuku said, as Izuku and Gwen both hopped through the gate to arrive at, well, Indian Spider-Man's universe, as they would be chasing down the same guy, and Izuku and Gwen would both be following behind. God damn, he is fast, Izuku said, as they would both whip and swing throughout the buildings and landscapes until they would arrive at Alchemax. As Miles would try to absorb the barrier, Miles, move, Izuku said. Wait, why? As Izuku threw a 50% all-might smash at the barrier, cracking it and breaking it entirely, leaving it completely shattered. Get him, Izuku said, shouting, as everyone charged in, not expecting all the portals and everything, but Miles and Izuku did, as they all tried to avoid and detain him, but nothing seemed to work. but Izuku managed to lead one massive hit in at 60%, leaving him incapacitated. But the moment the machine went active, he flew straight into the machine, leaving the spot. Almost universal. "We don't think you're a joke," Izuku said. "You won't be after this." Snip. As everyone flew back except for Izuku. That was a mistake. Izuku, the moment he said, "Well, that's another day for—" "No, don't you dare!" As everyone went flying back, leaving everyone dazed in a blur. As danger sense woke Izuku up, as he was wondering where he was for a second, but remembering that he's in the collider room that was similar to Mr. Fisk's when he fought with Gwen and the other Spider-Man. As he got up as fast as possible and grabbed Miles, swinging out of the room as fast as possible until the building started to collapse underneath. As Izuku and the rest of the gang started to, get the building and get the civilians out of the way. But the difference here is Izuku caught the building. Izuku grined as he grabbed the building with all his force, keeping it upheld. As Izuku shouted, "Have you got them all out of the way?" he shouted. "No, but..." As the building collapsed underneath all the pressure, as the building debris scattered, as everything around the area started to crumble. As Izuku pulled back and slingshotted himself, as he managed to save a couple of people before the building collapsed fully onto the bridge, as the bridge started to collapse. As Izuku held Miles up by his arm. "Miles, don't. Something worse is going to happen, Miles, if you carry on like that," he said. "Come on, Izuku, it's not going to be that bad. I'll be in and out." "No, you won't," Izuku said, as he grabbed Miles, holding him tighter with Black Whip. As Miles couldn't get released, he tried to shock Izuku, but with no avail, it did not work. As Miles couldn't save Mr. Singh, as the canon event has happened, but in a different way, as Mr. Singh and the child died on that bridge. As Miles grabbed onto Izuku and said, "What the fuck? Why on earth would you stop me?" he said. "Miles, you don't see the full picture." "What is there not to see? You've just stopped me from saving somebody." "What the fuck, Izuku? Those people would have been A-okay. I could have saved them." "Miles, you don't get it." "What don't I get, huh?" "If you would have saved him, it would have made something a lot worse. Something that I could even control. There's something called canon events, the same way you got your spider. If you ended up saving those two, the collapse of their own universe would have happened, and everyone else on this little universe would be deleted. It's kind of like a video game. Everything happens normally until something unnormal happens, as you get called a hacker, as your account gets banned. Kind of like that, Izuku said. So if I would have saved them, that would have mean that, yes, Miles, that means they would have all died. Save one life to save millions, or or to kill millions, or don't save them and save millions. When I figured that out, it hurt me too much to bear. When I figured that out, I told Miguel I quit. I didn't want to see all those people that I couldn't save die just because of some stupid canon event. As Izuku and Miles both reconciled, but Miles was still pissed that he couldn't save those two people in need. As Dr. Singh's daughter, the only thing she did after that day was cry, but we're not focusing on her. Instead, we're focusing on something else, the aftermath afterwards. "You let him escape," she said, shouting at, both of Gwen and Izuku. Well, there was unforeseen circumstances. What circumstances? You had 2 attempts to get him. Nah, we're doing this our way now, she said, as she grabbed Izuku's, watch and replaced it with a band. You wanted to quit, did you not? There you go. There's your result, she said. Fair enough, Izuku said, as Izuku and the rest of the gang both went to go see Miguel. So Izuku, as you were saying before, I'm sorry for shouting at you, Miles said. I completely understand it, Miles, as none of this is your fault. But there is other reasons to be here, though, as they both arrived at Miguel's little lair type of thing. As everything would go from the movie, because I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the movie already. Miguel would explain everything to, both of them. But the most thing that really surprised Izuku and, Miles was Peter's kid. As Izuku and, Toby, I can't remember what his name is, the punk rock Spider-Man from UK, as they both saluted the little girl, saying, "We salute you for taking a crap on the establishment." As, fast forward just a couple of minutes, as Miguel had Izuku and Miles both trapped, as Izuku tried to escape by using more and more smashes, but Izuku pointed over to Miles, showing what, the other guy was showing, as Miles and Izuku both broke out, as they both started running. But that's where we're going to leave the video off today. Hope you all enjoyed. Part 2 of this series will be out as soon as possible, and goodbye everybody.